What's up, YouTube? My name is Jamin, and this is Not Too Casual. Now, if you've seen my face before, welcome back. But if you have not, welcome as well. Either way, you are here for a reason. And what's that reason today? You want to know why the alcohol industry is negative in sales by 22 billion with the B. Dollars. That's right, we're going to get into it. But before we do, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate that. And also leave your 2 cents down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. Let's get into it, guys.
Dry January, sober October. From those who abstain altogether to those who call themselves sober curious, many Americans seem to be cutting back on alcohol intake. While beer, wine, and liquor remain a huge part of the social standard in the United States, according to a recent Gallup poll, more than 1/3 of American adults don't drink alcohol. So why does it feel as if for so long the default has always been to drink?
You can really feel like an outcast if you're not participating.
When I stopped drinking 10 years ago, that was not the easiest choice. Like on Wall Street, people drink a ton.
Could I have continued down the path of just the social norm of drinking at every work event and every social event? Sure, probably. But I didn't realize the ways that was impacting my life, my physical health, my mental health, until after I stopped, honestly.
Yeah, so let me butt in right now, if I may. I appreciate it. So 1/3 of Americans are not drinking alcohol. That seems like a large number to me, honestly, because of what they were speaking of right now, which is the social pressure. And social pressure to drink, I gotta say, is probably the most influential reason why people actually do drink, especially why people initially drink in the first place. Now, I'm going to go into some anecdotal experience here. I went to college. I did not drink alcohol until I got to college. And I gotta say, it's like alcohol is everywhere. Everyone drinks. You want to know how it feels, what it makes you feel like. And then it becomes a social party favor, honestly. And whether or not you drink a lot, you binge drink, or you just, you drink socially, you drink a minute amount just to get a little buzz, a little taste, But it's a social thing. So it kind of becomes very questionable if you say, nah, I'm not drinking. Let's keep going.
For decades, messages encouraging consumption have been poured into public consciousness through advertising, legislative lobbying, and even at the doctor's office.
For a long time, there was this thinking that small amounts of alcohol might be beneficial and might have a positive health effect. I think we're increasingly moving away from that.
Dr. Scott Hadland is an addiction specialist at Mass General for Children, who says many epidemiologists and addiction specialists have updated their views.
What we're now thinking is that it is probably best to have no alcohol whatsoever, that any amount of alcohol that you have does contribute to some level of health harm.
It appears.
You guys remember when they used to say drinking wine, I believe red wine in specific, was actually healthy for you? This is so asinine. It's like when they used to say cigarettes aren't harmful. And when pregnant women in the 50s would go to their prenatal visits, the doctors would be smoking cigarettes in the room with them. What the hell were they trying to sell to us? And how did people not know it was harmful? I think people did know, just like this particular study, when they finally realized that any amount of alcohol is harmful. Alcohol is poison, if you want to be honest with you. It alters so many things in the body, and anything that makes you inebriated, where you slur your speech, you become physically debilitated, I should say. You can't walk straight. You can't think straight. You lose memory. Nothing about that sounds healthy to me.
Here's the public is becoming increasingly aware of this risk and exploring ways to imbibe less by practicing more mindful drinking or cutting out alcohol completely.
Most people who have a glass of wine here or there, or a beer here or there, and are drinking at low levels are not going to have any health effects from it. Where we start to worry is when somebody's use starts to go into that territory of causing problems. Alcohol is a drug. If we think about it as a substance that has a psychoactive effect on people if they drink it or if they use it, then absolutely it's a drug. And we also know that it can lead to addiction in people.
23 million Americans suffer from what's now classified as substance use disorder.
Real quick, he's definitely right about that. Alcohol is definitely a drug. It may not be classified in that way. I just believe because over the many hundreds of years, thousands of years, alcohol has been available for mankind, and it's very easy to create at home. So it's hard to regulate. So they had to make it legal. You remember back in the day, they tried to make it illegal with prohibition, and everybody was making it in the tub, making it out back, in the barn, wherever you were. And then they created the speakeasies, those secretive bars where they would sell alcohol. So you really can't outlaw it because it's so easy to create. And it's also a substance that is so, what's the word? What's the term I want to use, or how I want to describe this? You can regulate your personal intake to the effect where it doesn't do much to you physically and affects your life. But at the same time, you can completely abuse it and actually destroy your life and even the life of others. So it's a very questionable drug. It does ruin a lot of lives, takes a lot of lives. So at this point in time, it's legal, but you just got to watch your intake and watch what you do and what you do around other people, privately and in public.
We used to say things like somebody is an addict or somebody is an alcoholic, and what we know is that these labels can be really damaging for people.
That deliberate reframing is one of the many efforts the medical community is making to help destigmatize addiction.
Instead, we want to label them just like we do with every other medical issue as being a person first who has a medical issue that can be helped.
Substance use disorder is now diagnosed as mild, moderate, or severe.
Our job is always to meet patients wherever they are in the spectrum and then help them to make positive change.
But making that change can feel like swimming upstream for a long list of reasons. Laura McCowan is a Marblehead author who's writing her third book on her recovery journey.
For so long, we've been culturally duped about that, thinking that alcohol was part of a healthy lifestyle because of the campaigns that Big Alcohol bought.
In 2023, beer, wine, and liquor companies spent $28 million to influence federal legislation and policy.
When I got sober, and I would say even 5 years ago, you'd have to have an excuse and think about it beforehand, before you went out to dinner and you were not going to drink.
For McCowan and many others, the choice to abstain from alcohol in a social setting can be like wearing a scarlet letter out to dinner, even among family and friends.
Am I on antibiotics? Am I going to lie and say that I'm training for, a 5K? Like, what excuse do I need to come up with so that people don't grill me about why I'm not drinking?
That's absolutely wild that you would have to make an excuse. Now, I'm a millennial. I'm an elder millennial, by the way. So I grew up, everybody was drinking alcohol in the early 2000s, right? It was very rare for somebody to not drink, even a very small amount. But it was just a social thing we did. We kicked it. We had fun, right? And I do remember now that I think about it, that whenever somebody would say that they weren't drinking, you had to say, "Yo, why? What's going on? Are you pregnant? Like she said, are you training for a marathon or something? You going to the Olympics or something? Like, what's going on? Why are you not drinking?" It's Friday, it's Saturday night. We getting lit. What's wrong? So I understand that. And this goes back to what I was saying about the social pressure to drink alcohol. To drink alcohol, to drink poison, actual poison, pour it down your throat and have it course through your veins just to alter everything about your being.
However, there are changes taking place that are bringing balance to the beverage space.
We had the couple of non-alcoholic beers that existed in the 90s. We had the early days of rather poor non-alcoholic wine and things like that. This is Tilden.
Pat Dooling is the founder of Dre Drinks, a non-alcoholic beverage store in Boston South End.
So what's really nice is that product side has gotten to the point where you've got the choice. At some point, we've kind of crossed over the threshold and it's become a bigger part of the norm.
In the past,
I mean, here's my take on non-alcoholic wines and beers and whatever else they may make. If you're not going to drink alcohol, then don't drink non-alcoholic drinks. Because at that point, you're just taking in a lot of sugar, a lot of added calories for no reason. You might as well drink water, because alcohol is not a drink. It's not a beverage where you're like, you know what, I'm thirsty, I'm going to have me a glass of whiskey. No. You thirsty, you're going to get some water. You're going to get some Powerade. You're going to get some coconut water, whatever the drink is of your choice. Alcohol has a specific purpose, and that's to get you fucked up. So we not out here trying to drink beer, because who just be like, oh, I just love the taste of vodka so much that I want to drink it, even though it does absolutely nothing to inebriate me. No, like that's wild to me for somebody to order a non-alcoholic beer or a non-alcoholic, what they call it, mocktail. No, get your tail out of here.
decade, alcohol ads have been banned from city property in Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and New York City.
If culture keeps going this way, it won't be the foregone conclusion. It could be you might drink, you might not, but it's not that big of a deal because there's plenty of people doing both.
I think one of the most remarkable things that I've seen in over a decade of practice at this point is that rates of alcohol use have dropped down to historic low levels. This is actually an enormous public health success that we don't talk a lot about.
So what we get from this video is that the social pressure of drinking alcohol has greatly decreased. People want to be more healthy. People want to take care of themselves. And we don't have to come up with lies anymore about why we're not drinking. We should not have ever had to do that, but social pressure is a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So let's go right along. I got another video for you guys. We're going to talk about the youth, because boomers, they still drinking. Millennials, we drink way less than boomers. But Gen Z, though, they are falling off the cliff and drinking way, way, way less than everybody. So let's get into this, and we're going to see what's going on with Gen Z and why they aren't drinking alcohol.
It's a social habit people have taken part for generations, but we may be seeing more glasses empty.
Just not appealing to me.
I don't know, I don't drink.
I don't drink because of religious reasons.
Recent studies show alcohol consumption with Generation Z is trending downwards. A report from Berenberg Research shows that Gen Z drinks 20% less per capita than millennials. Millennials also drinking less than Gen Xers and baby boomers. A separate report from Australia's University of New South Wales also backs up the trend worldwide, finding 44% of those aged 18 to 24 drinking less than older generations.
I feel like they're just not really as interested, maybe.
I also think people just want to live a healthier lifestyle in general and might not be drinking as much.
There's been a lot more studies, obviously, now than there were before about like the side effects of alcohol, drugs.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Dominique Marizano specializes in harm reduction and meets with many clients in that age range.
About 5 years ago, World Health Organization came out with some well, with the reality basically that no amount of drinking is healthy.
She believes young people have become more health conscious and have
And like we said earlier, no amount of drinking is healthy. And these youngsters, Gen Z, they're very intelligent and they understand this. They want to live healthier lives. These are the people who want to spend $15 on avocado toast because it's more healthy than whatever options were available beforehand. They're very conscious about the world. They're very conscious about different studies and what's been going on in the past and how they can use the past and learn for the current and for the future. They want to take care of themselves more. And I mean, like I said, alcohol sales for the month of January 2026 have dropped $22 billion they have on reserve of alcohol that's not sold and most likely won't be sold. And that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And I believe that's moving forward. If they're not drinking now, when the world is burning down around them, they don't know how they're going to get careers, how they're going to make money, how they're going to survive single or in a relationship and to have kids, and they're already not drinking. What's going to push them to drink? And I believe that they're just trying to find alternates here as we look forward. You know, we got the devil's lettuce right here in the bowl. We're going to see that they're actually moving into alternate ways of comforting, we should say, that may be more economical. Let's move forward.
shifted to less harmful substances.
Recently, with the rise of psychedelic therapies and discussions on psychedelics, I think there's a lot of curiosity among young people about mushrooms, about LSD, about like different psychedelics that are out there.
And with the legalization of marijuana, combined with the constant hike of inflation,
And I think that also a lot of people my age have turned to that instead of drinking.
A 6-pack, for example, it's like $15 when you could get the same price for a marijuana e-cigarette.
Money has been an issue, inflation has been an issue, and alcohol is expensive, especially in Canada. Young people just don't have it's hard to afford it right now.
a dilemma that could leave the
That's true, guys. She did bring up a point here towards the end. Now, the cost of living all over is just going up. It costs a lot of money to be able to consume alcohol. Now, my wife and I, we just had a baby boy. We haven't been out in a while, but I do remember specifically going out to a bar or a club, recently just to see what's going on out here. We're not in our 20s anymore. We're not raging like we used to. But the cost of alcoholic drinks is through the roof. Now, we were crazy growing up, so we pre-gamed all the way to the club because we got to save money. But there's no way that these youngsters out here today are going out and not pre-gaming. I mean, alcoholic drinks might $20. How can you even get on a level? And you know what I mean by getting on a level. Get on your level by paying $20 a drink. You're going to go bankrupt. And then you got to worry about gas. If you want to get a new outfit, food before and after, because who knows if you came with a group of people, they might want to go to IHOP. They may want to go get a Whataburger. They may want to go get something to eat afterwards. You got to think about this. And the cost of living is too crazy. So if you eliminate alcohol, you eliminate hundreds, thousands of dollars from your budget to make room to be spent on other things. Got to think about that. Also, the health issue, we talked about it. These kids don't want to get liver cancer. They don't want to get liver psoriasis, corrosion of the liver. They don't want that. It affects your breathing, your brain function, how you think, your memory, excuse me. It affects so much, especially if you partake so much over time. Also, there's no more FOMO. FOMO was the thing that you had before cell phones, when you had to go to the function so you could see what it was like. You can see who was there. Nowadays, somebody's going to be live streaming it. Or you can see the replay 15, 20 minutes afterwards, an hour at most. There's no fear of missing out on anything because you won't miss out on anything. It's going to be in the news. It's going to be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you want, whatever your flavor is, you can find it. So stay at home, play your video games, practice your makeup, whatever is your thing. Look at it on your phone. You don't have to go out and spend buku amounts of money on alcohol. Also, we know alcohol is marked up 1,000% at the bars and the clubs. So why not buy that $10 bottle of wine and drink it at home, then go and spend $20 per glass of wine of that same bottle at a bar, a restaurant, a club? We thinking these days. So the clubs and the bars and the restaurants, y'all gonna have to come with a better model, because I know sales are tanking. I can make a video probably on the downfall or the decline of club life. That might be something else I might need to look into. Let me write that down here. Downfall of club life. Also, drinking alcohol is a liability. You're inebriated, you can't see, you can't walk, you can't talk. And then the next day, you do something detrimental, you can't even remember it. Men, don't deal with women that are drunk. You have a heavier burden if something happens. And when I say don't deal with women, I'm talking about sexual, okay? Don't deal with women you don't know that are drunk. If it's your wife, your girlfriend of an extended amount of time that you trust, okay, give you a pass. But these women can go out here and say, hey, retroactively say, hey, I didn't want to do that last night. Because if their roommate finds out, their parents finds out, or somebody finds out that they don't want to, and they feel like they've lost their purity, they can go back and say anything about you. And the way the law is written these days, the man is the one that has to have more responsibility. So be careful, because there's liability out there. And then collectively, you just do stupid shit when you drunk. Most of DV, any type of abuse, car accidents, just belligerent public intoxication, arrests, things of that nature, it all comes from being drunk, alcohol. And nothing good happens after midnight. Nothing. So stay at home, decrease your alcohol consumption, save money, and stay safe. Make sure you like, share, leave your 2 cents down in the comment section, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel if I have earned that from you. If you found value in this video. Again, my name is Jamin. This is Not Too Casual. Until next time, guys. Peace.